It's Josh here with the Linhart team, Coldwell Banker Realty. We are a team of 13 agents out of the Twin Cities in Minnesota, and last year we did over 150 transactions. And today we have a special guest, Wade Glenna. It's a builder that we have partnered with, and I've known for many years. Wade, why don't you tell us about yourself, who you are, where'd you grow up, and kind of what inspired you to get into building?
Okay. Hey, Josh. I am Wade Glenna and started building in, I believe it was 1992. Pretty soon out of high school. I started working for a couple of local contractors.
That's almost older than Brian.
Yeah. Probably is, yeah. So then worked for a couple of local contractors. Just decided that I was just going to do it myself because I felt like I could. Probably couldn't at that time, but now it's been 32 years.
Gotcha.
Doing it.
Nice.
In the area. Grew up in the area.
Grew up in the area, so Chisago Lakes.
Yep.
Graduated
Class of 1990.
Gotcha. Okay. I was young at that time, but that's okay. So what's your favorite style of house to build, or what's your ideal situation when building a house?
Honestly, my ideal situation is building my own personal house because then I can do everything the way I want to do it. Outside of that, people that really want to finish them well.
Yep.
They're not afraid to have it take a little bit longer, spend a little bit more money, and do it really, really well.
Gotcha. Okay. So what is your, I don't want to call it price point, you're probably like that 750, 500 to $1 million range?
Absolutely. At least 500. As you know, 500 doesn't go a whole long way anymore.
No, not no more.
Yeah, anywhere up to 2 million. I don't know that I'd want to go much higher than that.
Yep.
It takes a lot of time,
18 to 24 month build process.
Yeah,
yep.
And it just gets to be a lot.
Yep.
So kind of in that other range.
But also very capable of building small entry level homes too.
Yeah, we do. We've done plenty of those together. And
we've partnered a few times on a couple of different neighborhoods, and now we got this new neighborhood, Dayspring, that Brian and I jumped into and asked you to kind of jump in feet first with it. Built our first model, a big 2-story, and that turned out really great. The clients are really happy. So
good.
What are we working on out there now?
Now we have about a 1,500 square foot Rambler, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, main floor laundry. It's in the process of getting framed. So hoping to have it ready early spring or early summer, late spring.
Early summer, late spring. So looking for acreage, some privacy, and a great neighborhood. Chisago Lakes, Franconia, Dayspring. We got one for you. Would love to get a couple more going in there. So, reach out. What's some things you like to do in the pastime? What's some hobbies?
My hobbies, family.
Family.
Obviously, I have 2 daughters and a wife. Hunting.
Okay.
Probably number one. Hunting birds.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And working. Really, it's sad, but I like working.
Yep.
I like my job.
I have that hobby too. Unfortunately, everybody asks what's your hobby. It's like, well, I love what I do, so I work. That's what I do.
Yep.
So. What are some of your biggest challenges through the years of building? Obviously, I'm sure you've had a giant challenge during the build process, or maybe a client. What was the challenge? Because I'm sure people like to hear our horror stories in real estate, so I'm sure they like to hear a few horror stories in the building side of it. And then how'd you overcome that?
I would say probably 2 of the scariest moments were we had a house in Center City on the lake, and we were framing it up. And we got there in the morning. It was a tall A-frame house, big trusses on it. The trusses were standing. We were going to come put plywood on the roof. And for whatever reason, we left that morning. I don't know if we had to go build a deck or do something else. We left. We came back, and all the roof trusses had failed and collapsed down the backside of a house. And how we would have had carpenters on that roof. And it turned out to be, through engineering, that it was the defect in the roof truss by the manufacturer. So it was all covered for by them and paid for everything. So, but that was scary because thinking of any one of us could have been the end.
Right, been up there.
So that was scary. I had a windstorm or tornado come through and knock down part of a very large house that we were building, and just the nervousness about, okay, how do we deal with the insurance company? How is this going to get figured out? And
Right.
and
Because once the trusses hit the ground, I think I remember this story. Once the trusses hit the ground, basically they're null and void. You can't
Right.
reuse them. Doesn't matter.
right,
What
they looked in perfect shape. They just laid right down, and the walls laid right down, and we could have just put it all back together. But once that has happened, the truss company will no longer warranty them. So we
Gotcha.
had to cut them up and throw them away.
Yep. Kind of a sad situation, especially when materials are
Yeah.
tough to come by.
But everybody that was involved was really helpful. The insurance company was great. The trust company was great. They got it out there really fast.
Homeowner was understanding.
Homeowner was understanding. He got it. He understood it. We moved forward, and I mean, a bad thing turned out just fine.
Right. Gotcha. So working with homeowners, obviously we have our neighborhood too, and working with homeowners, what's your ideal situation, or what's the best way, especially when you get somebody that, wants to make changes or keeps changing their mind? How do you set that precedent or standard to say, hey, at this point, we can't make changes anymore?
Ideally, we don't make any changes, and we just go ahead with the plan. But I know changes happen all the time, especially on the bigger houses. There's more changes because there's a lot that goes into it, a lot of planning, a lot of thought. And the homeowners,
pieces.
it's a lot of stress on them.
Yep.
So I try to be as nice as I can and as patient as I can. And at certain points, I just let them know that we can do anything. I can change anything.
Yep.
How much do you want to pay to do
Right.
it?
Comes out of-
Sometimes it's just not cost
effective
to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you didn't think about that when we did the design process, or
Right. I don't mind making changes.
Yep. Hey, we put in, this is the flooring you picked out. You don't like it. Sure, we can remove it out. Unfortunately, that's gonna come at a cost. So
My objective is to have a happy homeowner.
right.
That's better than the paycheck for me.
Yep. Correct.
But sometimes you have to get paid for major changes.
Right. Yep. Nope. Completely understand that. How many homes do you like to build a year? What are you kind of seeing as far as trends? But let's hit how many homes do you like to build a year? How many have you built? What are some current projects you're currently working on?
All right. Well, how many do I like to build a year? As many as I physically can.
How many is possible?
How many is possible, really, with the labor force today? For me, it gets to be a struggle to do anything more than, say, $3 to $4 million worth of work in a year.
Okay.
I kind of go on volume instead of numbers that way.
Yep.
Because you need the amount of people to produce that amount of product.
Right.
And I just haven't found qualified people to fill in gaps where I need people to be.
Yep.
So I kind of just stay at that limit.
Especially you get you get that higher end home. It takes 12 months to build, and that
just a lot more man hours
Right.
involved. So
Yep.
you can only go at this point with the amount of people you can get.
Yep.
So that's
Right.
kind of where we're at.
With
Unless
the
people are
labor.
okay, they're not really okay with buying a house and waiting 2 years to move in.
No. I haven't found many that are willing to do that yet.
No.
So going to the labor force, what are you seeing? Labor force, contractors, what do you kind of look for there? What's your kind of hiring strategy with these guys?
32 years of learning the area, the people in the area, and cultivating good relationships. My number one thing for people is honesty.
Yep.
I've switched lumber companies a few times and salesmen just through attrition,
Yep.
retirement, whatnot. I tell them when we meet the very first time, don't ever lie to me.
Right.
Tell me what I don't want to hear and tell me right away.
Yep.
And
So we can fix the problem.
Exactly. We'll get rid of the problem right away. We'll figure it out. We'll move forward. Lying to me doesn't do anybody any good.
Right. Right. Yep.
So honesty is my number one thing with these guys.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
then, and if they're honest, that means they're going to show up when they say they're going to.
Yep. Yep.
It'll cost what they say it's going to cost.
And they'll do a good job most likely, because
Exactly.
that's generally what you find in that characteristic.
Yeah.
So, what are you kind of seeing in today's trends as far as building? What are we gray and white? Are we is it back to earth tones? Where's the market? Where's that trend going?
Funny enough, we're mixing, like for colors, a lot of dark colored sidings, like black, or doing black houses with black windows and black
Interesting.
roofs. Yeah. Tie in a little bit of brown with it.
Okay.
Which I didn't ever think you put black and brown together. At least my kids tell me that. I can't do that.
My wife tells me that too.
But evidently you can in a house. And it looks good. I mean, the inside of houses, we're going less probably modern farmhouse, and people are moving more towards modern.
Okay.
A little bit more simple, a little cleaner, a little less rustic.
Okay. We still big open spaces, or
Yes.
Okay. Still the big open, like
Yep.
the vaults.
Yep. The biggest thing I'm seeing right now is butler's pantries are coming back.
Okay.
You and I
Yep.
have done some stuff with older homes,
Yep.
and they have butler's pantries,
Yep.
and I'm like, Okay, the last 3 houses I've done, the big ones,
Yep.
have all had butler's pantries.
Nice.
And they're having their appliances in them.
Yep. Putting
So-
your extra fridge in there or whatever,
the fridge.
Or the fridge. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So the kitchens are beautiful, and all the functioning stuff is inside that butler's pantry.
Gotcha. So you got big, clean, open kitchen, and then
Yep.
we'll hide these appliances.
People tend to entertain in their kitchens.
Yep.
Why not make it big and open?
Yep. Nope. I agree. We do that all the time. So you remodeled ours, and that's what we do with ours. So
Yep.
maybe we're ahead of trends. Don't tell my wife that these new trends are coming because I don't need her calling you again. So my budget won't allow that.
Gotcha. Your house is beautiful. It turned out good.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that is kind of answers a lot of our questions. If you have other questions, shoot us a message down in the chat, and we would love to have Wade on again, and he can answer through those. And if you guys want to learn more about the building process or what you want to know about it, let us know.
All right. Thank you.